Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Very warm welcome to my vlog series. Today is 19th January 2024, and at Area Study Center for Central Asia, Russia and China, Friday seminar is holding key to the research scholars, and today we invited Dr. DrShaukatAli from Computer Science Department, and his presentation topic is application of information technology in research. So Dr. DrShaukatAli is a scholar who has done his PhD from England in information technology. He is from Computer Science Department, Peshawar University. So he is the guest speaker.
Information technology and research. We decided about it that better now we move towards the use of information technology and research because the whole world is moving in that direction. So it was decided by the director and the faculty that now we have to focus more on the use of technology and research. So let me introduce very briefly Dr. Shaukat. He has got a very big biodata. Started from his postdoctoral fellowship from UK, PhD in computer science through indigenous HEC scholar, Department of Computer Science, University of Peshawar. Major area of specialization, web engineering and web semantics. Minor area of specialization, smartphone based semantic, live logging for human memory augmentation. Experience, University of Peshawar website, Google Scholar, Arcade. Dr. Shaukat has got patents as well. Corina Saas, sorry. Yes, these are the writers. You are
yeah, of course. She was my postdoctoral supervisor.
Okay, and he worked on that particular patent along with others. Research publication, he has got a long list of research publication. Almost it is 27 publications related to computer science, information technology, and so many themes which we are not generally used to. Conference and publication and book chapters from one, almost it's equally a long list, almost 8 conferences and publication books including chapters. Professional experience, the current employer is Department of Computer Science, University of Peshawar, and his previous employers were Federal Government Educational Institution and Kartaba University of Science and Information Technology. Projects and developments, he has got another area. Training and courses, a number of trainings and courses he has attended. Conferences and symposium, references he has mentioned in his bio data, but anyhow we don't need it over here. So please, Dr. Shaukat.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. As my director said, has given my introduction, I will also repeat.
Yes, yes, of course. Yes, I forget it. That I am Dr. Shafi, faculty at the Area Study Center.
Okay, my name is Dr. Farhan, faculty member at Area Study Center.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
My name is Farhan, I'm a student.
Meet you all. It's my pleasure. So, as you know that myself is Dr. CAsia. Dr. Shafi Saib has given a brief introduction of mine. Actually, today's my talk will be about the application of ICT in research. ICT stands for Information and Communication Technologies. Actually, the use of ICT, Information and Communication Technologies, by researcher has revolutionized the way research are conducted and new knowledge are discovered and shared among across the different fields. In other words, I can say that the use of ICT by the researcher is now indispensable for the data collection, processing, and dissemination. Today's researcher across the different fields uses different types of softwares, that's what we call applications, for the different steps or different stages in a research process. That is for data collection, that could be for the data analysis, similarly result and conclusion, afterward thesis drafting. So there is a very wide and big list of applications available to the researcher that they can use in their research in different phases and different steps. In my presentation, we will basically discuss that what are the potential applications available in the world, that what we can use for which step of research process. Initially, I will give a little bit introduction about the ICT. This is a very common term now. You would be probably known about that. But here we will just give a short introduction to that. That it refers to the diverse set of technologies and tools that could be used to manage, process, transmit, and exchange information. Means that ICT is basically the composition of different technologies and tools. These technologies could be hardware, these could be software, this could be the networking technologies. Similarly, these could be the systems. But all of these combinedly or collectively that enables us to communicate and manipulate data. Simply in short terms, we can say that ICT means all devices. By all devices, I mean all digital gadgets that you can access now. That could be your laptops, desktops, that could be your smart TV, that could be your smartphones, that could be your smartwatch, any type of device. Similarly, networking technologies, that could be the local area network, that could be the wide area network, that could be the WAN, that could be the PAN, whatever network component that is. Applications, that is the softwares, whatever software that is, that could be your text processors, that could be your statistical softwares, and etc. And systems. System means operating systems. So it means all devices, networking components, software applications and systems that are combined to allow people and organization to interact with the digital world. So that's what we collectively call ICT. Now, as far as ICT is concerned, so as I told you that it is the composition of different things, that is hardware, software, system, networks. So what could be the potential or possible components of ICT? That could be your networks, that could be, as I told you, your local area network, your wide area network, that could be the wireless network, that could be the wired network, that could be the Wi-Fi. Now this is the new emerging technology, that's what we call Wi-Fi, light fidelity. Similarly, it could be the data. That could be the structured data, that could be the unstructured data, that could be the primary data, that could be the secondary data. Whatever data that is available or that is collected in a research process or by an organization. Similarly, it can be the communication technologies, transactions, hardwares, softwares, and similarly cloud computing. That is another area that is now very emerging now in ICT. So this is a very big list of components that collectively makes ICT. So this was a little bit introduction about ICT. Now what ICT can do in research. As you all people belong to the research field and you definitely know about the research process, that research is basically a systematic process that starts from the identification of problem statement till writing of your report. So during this process, we pass different stages, we pass different steps. So almost at each and every step, the ICT can help us. That can help researcher in the identification of research topic. That's what we can use by online platforms. That's what I will discuss in the coming slides, that what are the potential online platforms we can use for this. Similarly, this can help us in reviewing and managing the available literature. There is a vast repositories available online that what we can use to download and access our relevant literature. Similarly, we can critically analyze information. Definitely different applications are available that help us in this way. Helping to contact subject matter experts, that's what we call as research discussion. That now, as far as the research discussion is concerned, it is not only restricted locally to a researcher and supervisor only. You can contact the subject expert across the world in different ways by using different online platforms. We can choose the right research methodology. It's a very important step that we have to look into the nature of our research, and then we have to find the best methodology, that what could be the best methodology for our research. Effective data collection, analysis and summarization, sharing information among desired stakeholders, and accessing multiple databases for needed dataset as per requirement, and etc. This is just a few I have included over here. There are also other ways or aspects in which ICT can help researchers in their research process. Now let's come towards that what a researcher who has the ICT skills can do. In the previous slide, we talked about that what ICT can help researcher. But if a researcher is equipped with ICT skills, so what he can do? He can do the different things. He can access and explore knowledge. As I told you, that there are different repositories, databases that are available online that we can access and explore knowledge from there. We can manage research materials. That's what we will discuss in the coming slide, that what is meant by managing research materials. Similarly, he can do structuring and sensitizing research material. That's what we can do, that you can summarize, you can analyze your research, you can build communication and collaboration across the world with the people that might be working with the same topic or that might be belonging to the same field. He can make academic writing. It's a very important thing, and I must say a sentence about it over here, that now it's a very hot freelancing area, that there are a lot of people, a lot of researchers, we are basically doing freelancing in this area, that they write academics writings. There could be correction of research papers, there could be correction of theses, and so on. So it's a very potential area. That's what we can make money out of it as well. Similarly, he can have knowledge dissemination. He can do analysis by using different statistical software. That's what I will discuss in the coming slide, that what kind of statistical software we can use for what data. Similarly, he can make presentations to present results, and he can also use the other related tools. So it means that what ICT would do, if a researcher is equipped with ICT skills in different applications, in different technologies, then he can do the different tasks in different ways efficiently and speedily, and again with accuracy. Now I will come to the application of ICT in research. As far as I told you that as far as research is concerned, so it's basically a systematic process that starts from the problem definition till thesis report writing. So for the sake of this presentation, I have basically divided that whole flow chart or process flow chart into three major steps. That is the application of ICT before data analysis, that is the application of ICT during data analysis, and that is the application of ICT after data analysis. Because there are certain steps what we perform before data analysis. There are again certain steps that we perform during data analysis, and there are certain steps that what we perform after data analysis. In the coming slide, I will cover each and every step, and in each step I will give a few examples of what potential applications or softwares that are available, that what we can do for this purpose. Application of ICT in pre-data analysis that basically refers to the applications of ICT's technologies in research activities before reaching to the state of data analysis. And that basically these activities are basically the research, literature, article, thesis or dissertation search, that is content searching, literature tracking and data collection. These are the activities, research activities that we normally perform before reaching the data analysis step. What is meant by literature search? As you definitely know, that when we start research, so the first step of research is basically finding your relevant literature, studying your relevant literature, and identifying the research gaps in that literature. So initially or in the past, what the researcher would do, they would basically have to go to the libraries, they have to manually search the hard book copies that could be in the shape of journals or in books, and then they have to read each and everything. They would have to do each and everything manually. So that was basically a very tedious and you can say a very hectic job. And another thing was that there was very limited chances of finding one's relevant material, because it was not possible for a researcher that he should read all of the available books in that library. And another problem that was in this manual searching was that there was very limited chances of getting the state of the art knowledge about that field, because it was depending the nature or the status of that library, that how far he could access the latest information or he could get the latest book. So if that would be available, okay, that's fine. But if that was not available, then the researcher would be basically not aware of the state of the art knowledge about that field. So in short words, that manual searching was basically a very hectic process, and there was very limited chances of finding relevant material. But the use of ICT technologies, now there are a lot of applications available online, that is in the shape of search engines and in the shape of databases, that what we can use to find our relevant research material. So there are, as I will focus on two things, that is research engines and databases. The research engine is a different thing and database is a different thing. Although both of these are basically a collection of documents. A search engine also is a collection of documents, as a collection of data, and a database is also a collection of documents and data, but they both work in a little bit different way. Anyway, so we have a lot of search engines. There could be the Shudganga. This is basically an Indian repository. That's what we can use for the thesis downloading from the different domain, from the different field. Similarly, another search engine that we can use for downloading our relevant research literature, that is the Google Scholar. This is a very common, then that is basically used by the researchers, and they basically broadly search for scholarly literature across discipline and sources. Means that it is basically a general purpose search engine that can provide you research material across any field. You can find research material about computer science, you can find research material about library science or physics or whatever it is. It's a very huge collection of documents, and you can find your research material over there. Similarly, we have another search engine that is of Microsoft, that is called Microsoft Academic Search. Similarly, we have another that is called Mendeley, and it is basically a platform comprising a social network, reference manager, article visualization, and etc. And we have another that is SSRN, and it is a multidisciplinary online repository of scholarly research and related materials in social science. So in short words, apart from that, we have Bing, that is another search engine that is of Microsoft. We have Baidu, that is a Chinese search engine. Similarly, we have Yandex, that is another search engine, a Russian search engine, and so on. So it means that online we have a lot of search engine, a very big list of search engines that what now we can use to access our relevant literature in just a few clicks. So that makes that manually searching of documents and library problem overcome and helps researcher to access their required material efficiently and effectively. Apart from that, we have several other databases of research articles. As I told you, that there is a slight difference between research engine and database. Although both is a collection of documents and data, but the internally working of them is a little bit different from each other. So we also have different databases that is elsewhere. Most common one that is the commonly used. We have the Emerald. We have the Cambridge Core, Taylor and Francis, Web of Knowledge, Scopus, etc. So these are the different databases. I just have mentioned a few out of them. There is a very big list. We have Springer, we have IEEE, that is in our computer science domain. You people would have a different domain, so there would be certain different databases. There is a very big list of these databases that what we can use to retrieve or to find our required research material and articles effectively and efficiently. The second step, that after finding the research material, it's a very important thing, because when we search something, we search by keywords. Okay, for example, if I want to do research in IoT, I will give IoT in Google Scholar or whatever search engine that I use, and it will basically return me all those documents which has the IoT keyword in that document. So once I download a research paper, the second important thing is the determination that either this paper is worth of deeper review or not. Because if you are using the Google Scholar, it will give you thousands of research papers. So it is not possible that you should be able to read each and every research article. So now the important step is the determination of that either this article is worthy of deeper review or not, or in other words, I say that it is most relevant or not. So that is the content searching, that what we do after the downloading a paper. There are different applications. For example, if you are using Acrobat Reader, so in Acrobat Reader we can use a function find. So we have to use keywords, the keywords that are most relevant to our research. So then we have to find those keywords in those documents in these applications. If you have MS Word has another find function, and that Acrobat Reader has another. So what we have to do, we have to find our relevant keywords that is more relevant to your research. And on the basis of those keywords and phrases, we determine that the research is more effective and productive or not. And this search basically enables a researcher to quickly evaluate whether a particular article is worthy of deeper review or not. Now the question that should come in your mind, that how do we can conclude now that it is worthy or not? So you have to count the number of occurrence of that particular keyword or phrase in that research paper or in that literature. If the number of count is you can say that it is high, so it means that it is most relevant. It is about that particular topic and it is about that particular area. So as the number of occurrence of that particular keyword or phrase in that literature is high, it is most relevant. But if the number of occurrence of that particular keyword that is minimal, so it means that it is not most relevant. This is the simple rule of thumb that you can determine. So it provides you basically an inexpensive and it can improve the quick identification of relevant source literature. So again, as I told you, that we have different ICT technologies, that is Acrobat Reader, because most of the research material that is available in the PDF shape, and the Acrobat Reader has the find function, search function embedded in Acrobat Reader. That what you can do to do this task or to perform your problem. Next step is basically the literature tracking. Literature tracking is again a very important step of research, because when we are in the research, we basically download papers, and sometimes it becomes a huge bundle, a huge collection of papers, and then it becomes very difficult to differentiate between them and to determine that which paper is about what aspect of your research. So previously what the researcher would have to do, they have to basically sort their research material, classify their research material, and store their reviewed literature in computer folders or in physical folders. Apart from that, the researcher would have to develop their own explicit mechanism to determine mechanism that could be in the shape of a Word document, or that could be in the shape of spreadsheet that they would have to use to track and manage the reviewed literature for further use and refer. What do I mean by this? I mean that when a researcher reviews a paper, he basically highlights, he basically extracts the required text out of that paper, that what they can use further in their research writing or in their thesis. So when you have a huge bundle of research papers, then it becomes very difficult to determine that what you have read in that particular paper and what you had selected and where you had selected that. Then we have to develop our own mechanism. We have to create document file, then we write those particular text in those files and give the reference, okay, that was from that paper, and so on. So after concluding our research or doing our literature review, then we use this Word document or spreadsheet, and then we compile our synopsis or whatever thesis that is. So that becomes a very hectic process again, because it's manual basically. So that is basically a very daunting task. So now we have several applications, softwares. That is, for example, Mendeley. Mendeley basically provides you different features where you can manage, share, and discover the reviewed literature. That it is a complete framework, Mendeley, where you can store your research paper, where you can visualize your research papers, where you can highlight your research papers, where you can identify your required text in that particular research paper. So it's a complete framework, and that basically enables you to do the task, but the literature tracking task automatically. So that basically saves times and efforts, and that makes the researcher capable to manage lots of literature that the researcher was not possible in the past. So for the literature tracking process, again we have different ICT application. That is Mendeley, that is the most commonly used, that is also available online, that you can also download it free on your computers. That's what you can use for your literature tracking step. And the next step is the data collection, because there is no research without data. If you have to do a research, you have to collect data, either that is primary data or secondary data, but you have to collect data. And initially, again, in the past, what the researcher would have to do, they have to develop their own mechanism, they have to develop the questionnaire, then they have to go door to door and place to place for the respondents to fill the questionnaire or interview, whatever mechanism that was, and then they would basically collect their data. So again, it was a very hectic and expensive process, because the researcher would have to spend a lot of time to go from one respondent to another respondent, from one place to another place, from one door to another door. So again, that would make the entire process time consuming and very expensive. But thanks to ICT, that it has made this process again very simplified and efficient for us. Now we can collect data through web-based service. There are several different applications available online that what we can use in free. Some of them are also commercial, but free is also available where what we can use for our data collection process. Using these purpose-built software means that the software that are developed for a particular purpose. For example, Google Forms. This is a application that is provided by the Google ecosystem, and that basically provides you the mechanism where you can create your questionnaire, and then you can send that questionnaire to your respondents, and then they fill that and so on. So it is basically a purpose-built software. It's also called a greener approach, because initially in the past what we have to do, we had to take prints of that particular questionnaire. That could be the 10 questionnaire, 10 respondents, 100 respondents, 1000 respondents. So that would take a lot of paper, that would consume a lot of paper. So now as far as this approach is, it is a greener approach. Why? Because it eliminates the misuse or that wastage of paper. So that's what we can use for data collection and reduce time and efforts from the respondents. And this automatic data collection will not only enable researchers that they should administer their survey effectively. By administrating survey effectively means that after some time creating your questionnaire, you realize that no, this question is not like this, or I need some correction, or I need to add some more questions. So that was not possible in the paper based, because once the printout has been taken, okay, everything is done. Now you cannot make any changes or any addition in that paper, but it is soft based. Anytime if you want to make any changes, any addition, any correction in your questionnaire, that what you can do, you can do very easily. So it basically enables researchers that they can administer their survey or data collection process effectively. Similarly, the data collected by the questionnaire, that would be automatically stored in the digital format in that application. For example, the Google form creates a spreadsheet for your questionnaire, and once the respondent fill that questionnaire, the data will be automatically stored in that spreadsheet in the digital form. Then so we would be directly having data in a digital format, that what we can use for input to any statistical software. And what the researcher has to do in the past, that once they collect data, then they have to basically convert that data, encode that data in digital form, and then they have to again key in or feed that data into their application. So again, that was a very consuming task. But this data collection application, that also makes that process very easy and efficient for us, that the day we get data in the digital format from the respondents, and that after doing that, we can use that data as input to the statistical software. And as I told you, that there are a lot of applications available online, that what we can use for this data collection. I'll give you an example of Google Forms, and there is another very common that is called SurveyMonkey. Okay, SurveyMonkey is another very advanced application, that what we can use for this data collection, for making questionnaires and so on. And that is I can say that it is a little bit advanced than Google Forms. So again, you can use that for your data collection process. Another data collection, that one type of collection is that you collect data through your questionnaires. But there are also repositories, there are databases available online, that they already have huge collection of data in the structured format, and that's what we call data sets. And what is the beauty of data set? That it basically eliminates the burden of collecting that data from the researcher. That the researcher don't have to collect that data if that particular data set is available. For example, if I want to do research that the region wise, I want to find that how many people died in region wise due to COVID. So there is a data set available, and complete data set is available, and that's what we can use directly, instead of that I should move from one region to another region and then I collect data. So that makes your process, your research simple. So there are also a lot of shared databases that what you can use to collect data. That is the data bank, that analysis and visualization tool that contains collection of time series data on a variety of topics. Again, we have another another repository that is called gov.uk. It is basically a UK government based repository, and that basically offers access to tons of thousands of data sets on topics such as crime, education, transportation, and health. Again, we have another repository that is called Google Finance, and that provides the 40 years worth of stock market data updated in real time. Again, I just give a few examples. Apart from that, we have CAdia. That is another repository that provides you data set on a variety of topics, and there are several other online repository available that what you can use. Similarly, another repository is of the WHO, World Health Organization. They also have a variety of data across different topics, health related topics in the world. So again, that makes our process a lot easier, because now in a single click, if I find my relevant data set, so in a single click I can download that data set, and I would be relieved of that particular burden of collecting data. So this is another way that the ICT can help the researcher to do their research. So these are the different steps that what we normally perform before reaching the data analysis. And we discussed that how to and which ICT technologies can help us in these steps. Now we will come to the application of ICT in the data analysis. This is the most important phase of your research, because once you collected data, then you have to analyze data, and if you made your analysis correct, so that will provide you correct results. But if you have got any problem with your analysis, so definitely your result will be incorrect, and that makes your research questionable. So again, this refers to the application of ICT's technologies in the research activities that are normally performed during the stage of data analysis. Again, for simple to understand, I divided this into two broad categories, broad areas, and that is the quantitative data analysis and qualitative data analysis. That you people definitely would know definitely that quantitative data is basically countable, that is measurable, that is number based. And as far as qualitative data is concerned, so that is basically interpretation based, descriptive, that is related to language. So there are, it depends on your research that which kind of data you are using. Either you are using quantitative data or you are using the qualitative data. So again, there are different ways of analyzing different types of data. We have different methods that what we can use for the quantitative data analysis, and again we have different methods that what we can use for the quantitative data analysis. So in the coming slide, we will discuss that which type of ICT technologies are available there for which type of data. So again, we will look into the quantitative data analysis first. That, as I told you, that quantitative data analysis is basically the number based, that is countable, that is measurable data, and that is normally related to how much, how often, and so on. So again, it's a very common type of data that we normally use on our research. And definitely the researcher have to use different types of statistical tests. That is the t-test, that could be the ANOVA test, that could be the path analysis test, that could be the chi-square test, and whatever. There are different types of tests that normally a researcher performs during his research on the quantitative data to justify his hypothesis, that either his hypothesis is significant or insignificant. Okay. So again, we have different types of applications that is available to us. Some of them are free available, some of them are commercial, whatever. But we have a very big list of ICT applications that what we can use for a quantitative data analysis, for the different types of statistical tests we can do in there. The most common out of them is the SPSS, Statistical Package for Social Sciences. This is the most common software that what we can use for this quantitative data analysis. Another one, the most powerful in some ways than SPSS, that is the R. And that is the R Foundation for Statistical Computing. In today's world, I suggest everyone that you should learn R. Okay, this is most powerful, that is most you can say effective than SPSS in different ways. We have MATLAB, we have Microsoft Excel, SAS, GraphPad, and many tabs. These are the different types of statistical softwares, ICT applications that are available to us, that what we can use for the quantitative data analysis. Similarly, another is the qualitative data analysis, and as I told you earlier, that qualitative data analysis is interpretation based. It is descriptive. It is language related to, for example, how, when, and what happens after a particular attitude, like this. So again, as the nature of the data is different, so again we would be having different types of analysis out of them. We would need different applications, different ICT applications that would help us to analyze that qualitative data. So again, we have different types of applications available online. That's what we can use for this qualitative data analysis, and that is the NVivo, Atlas, Max QDA, SPSS text analytics, and so on. Okay, I just mentioned a few out of them. There is a very big list of applications that is available, that what we can use for qualitative data analysis. Now we will move to the applications for ICT in post data analysis. So again, this is the third step, or you can say that it is the stage of research that we normally perform after data analysis. So it refers to the use of ICT applications that could be applied in the research activities after the stage of data analytics. And for the sake of easy to understanding, I have divided that into 4 different steps. That is the reference and bibliography compilation, that is the article and thesis, dissertation discussion, plagiarism checking, and journal manuscript submission. Reference and bibliography compilation. You definitely know that when we do research, when we do some academic writing, we properly give the references. Giving references is basically, there are 2 aspects of giving references that is very important. One, it is ethically, that you should acknowledge someone for his research activity, because if he has discovered some knowledge, he worth acknowledgement, he worth some respect. So that basically gives this is the lethal ethical aspect. Another one is basically that once you give the reference, you have been relieved to justify that particular statement or that particular knowledge, because no one can make you questionable that you have written this in your research paper or in your thesis. So how do you say that once you give the reference, okay fine, the burden of proof is justification is on that particular person's shoulder, not on your shoulder. Okay, so again, it's not now, but since the research, the researcher used to compile references and bibliographic manually, and that would be basically in type of typing and sorting these references and bibliography in ascending order. So again, that was quite a manual job, and that was a tedious job. So thanks again to the ICT technologies applications that they provide us a number of applications that what we can use for this purpose, and that make our research process effective and efficient. Now we have different reference management softwares that basically help researchers to select citations and populate their bibliography automatically. Okay, you just give the reference, and then that reference will be included in your text document and so on. This is very common. Out of them is the EndNote and Mendeley that if you have used, so you would basically having the experience of that. And this research management software can help researchers in improving their efficiency and accuracy while preparing articles. Okay, by efficiency means that you can quickly put the reference at a particular location in your document, either that is in MS Word or in LaTeX, whatever you are using. Similarly, accuracy is that the right reference will be placed at the right place. Because if you are having 100 references, so sometimes it becomes very difficult, and the probability of making change and making mistakes to put the right reference at the wrong place, this probability becomes very high. So it basically helps researchers to increase their efficiency and accuracy while preparing articles. And as I told you that we have a very big list of these reference management software, but two are very common, that are very commonly used. One is the EndNote and another one is the Mannet. EndNote is a very complete software, okay, where you can import the citation record, you can connect that to the MS Word, you can connect that to the LaTeX. Similarly, you can create your own citation style, you can make changes in the available style. It's a complete software, and I would love to have a workshop, a one-day workshop, complete workshop on this to the researchers, that they should know about it. Similarly, again, Mannet, as I told you, that is a complete framework that basically provides you the different features, what we discussed in the literature tracking, that where you can store your research papers, you can visualize your paper, you can read your paper, you can extract document content from that paper. So again, it's a very complete framework that what we can use. So apart from that, there are also several other reference management softwares are available that you can use for this citation and bibliography management. Next is the article and thesis dissertation discussion. In previously, what the researcher has to do, or which source of information or guidance he would be maximally having, that was a supervisor. That he would read books, he would read articles where he would feel problem, he would rush into his supervisor office, and depends on the supervisor and his knowledge that he would help him out. But now the world has become a global village. Now we are not only restricted to our office or to our homes only. We can access information from any part of the world, and we can contact our relevant experts from any part of the world. So that is that article and thesis dissertation needs discussion between researcher and supervisor. There are different ICT applications that are available that you can connect a researcher to a supervisor or to any other expert in any part of the world. For example, LinkedIn. A few people have used LinkedIn. So you can contact people, relevant people that have expertise in your domain, in your field, and you can communicate with them. The LinkedIn provides you the chat facility, instant chat facility, where you can send message, you can communicate with them textually and similarly again through voice with these experts. So this communication will not only help you to correct your research, but if you have some problem in your research papers, that could also be beneficial. Similarly, they can also help you out in your report writing, your thesis or dissertation writing. This facilitates, ICT facilitates sharing of research materials, and that could be seeking comments from experts, enable analytics to monitor paper published, etc. And again, as I told you, that we have different forums and websites, platforms available for this purpose. I just have mentioned two out of them, that is academia.edu. It's a complete portal platform where you can contact the different experts in the different fields, you can communicate with them. Similarly, another we have the ResearchGate, and as I give you another example of LinkedIn and so on. So there are different ICT applications that is available online, that what we can use to make discussion with our supervisor or with any expert relevant to the field. Next is the plagiarism detection. Again, it's a very common problem that we normally face in research, that how do you have to identify plagiarism in a research paper or in a thesis report. So in the past, what the people would have to do, it would all depend on the readers. The readers would read the papers, the books, thesis and the dissertation, and if they would find any plagiarism, then it depends on their nature or consent that they would have to report it or not. So it means that the probability of finding or the chances of finding plagiarism in the research articles, in the thesis, that was very low and hard to detect, and depending on the consent or the approach of the reader. But thanks to ICT again, that now we have different types of applications that can help us to solve that problem. And that is, we have a very big list of applications that what we can use that is the Grammarly, that is the article checker, Turnitin, and dupli checker, and so on. I just have mentioned a few out of them, and the most common out of them is the Turnitin, that is commonly used by the academia and the researcher to check the plagiarism. So again,
perhaps we can use a better word instead of plagiarism. We can say similarity index checkers, because these software are unable to check the plagiarism. That's what I think.
oh, well, you can say that. It depends on. It depends on. But this is common. The word that is used for this purpose. Okay, you can say that something that is common in use. So this word is common in use.
The student may understand between the plagiarism and similarity index. आमतौर पे हम शायद वो रीराइटिंग को समझते हैं कि हमने प्लेजरिज्म को रिमूव कर दिया।
Yeah. Actually, that's what. That is a very lengthy discussion. If I go into detail of this, that how do this application work? For example, just to give me a couple of minutes. How do Turnitin works? Turnitin basically keep a repository. When you check or scan your document with Turnitin, it will keep a copy of that particular document with itself. So now, whenever if somebody else is going to check another document, so it performs word by word comparison. It performs word by word comparison with the available repository. So when these particular, you can say that there is a particular threshold. And when that particular threshold is met, then it gives you the indication that this has been copied or something like that. So that's why this is, you can say that there is another way around that if you want to escape yourself from Turnitin, you just rephrase that and rewrite that. So again, I will second assist his opinion that this is basically copying. That the rewriting someone idea in your words, that is not novelty. That is again copying. Okay, that will help you that the Turnitin will not catch you, but again that is copy and ethically it is prohibited. As I told you, that you can rewrite someone, but give proper reference. You give proper reference, okay, you should rewrite his idea, his words in your own words, but you give the proper reference. When you give the proper reference, okay, then it's clear that what it is not your idea, it is from this idea, from this particular document, or this particular person idea. So just give a reference, okay, fine. All is well? And that's all for this presentation. So if there is any question, I would love to.
Thank you very much, Dr. It was a very detailed one, and we all have learned a lot. Now the floor is open for the